Hi gang. So today's day 4 of trying out Claude Code, and for yesterday I tried to port an app that was like an app called Softly that I wrote a long time ago. It was on iOS, and it just was like a basic background noise generator I made for myself and then released. And to remind myself what happened. Basically, yeah, so I ran Claude Code and it was able to do the file playback of these background sounds, but I had another mode that was like white noise synthesis or binaural synthesis where the audio samples are generated on the fly, and it wasn't able to do that. It got close. It figured out it needed a audio callback, and it sort of implemented that, but it was like a buzzing noise. And I ran out of tokens at the end of the day, or at the end of the hour. So the tokens came back eventually, and I just asked it to continue. And then it actually pretty much worked. So now the main issues are like UI things. So with that, I think I'll just run it to remember where we're at with this app. And what I want to do is fix the UI. Maybe add other types of noise. Maybe pink noise is perhaps a little more pleasant to listen to. For the UI, I want controls. I want sine tone controls for the binaural beats. I also want don't want this on-off toggle per tile noise. Let me see the app. So right now it shrunk the tile down to this app icon size. Let's see. It doesn't start playing sound on launch too, which is weird. I have to tap it once to turn it off, and once to turn it back on, I think. Oh yeah, and that load lag is weird. So now it's playing the wave song. I can turn it off. If I don't turn it off, and I go to the next one, it starts playing the wave song. So yeah, it's this weird system. But now let me turn it off. But yeah, here's the binaural beats one. And this is one interesting thing. So frequency controls actually work. So binaural beats is when you play two sine tones with headphones, and there's one frequency in one ear and another frequency in the other ear, and they're slightly different. That's why there's this delta freak. So when they're very far apart, you can hear the two tones, but when they're close together, there's this phenomenon called beating that appears due to the destructive interference, where you hear this kind of like peak. And interesting thing is, so this happens, this like destructive interference happens in the air, but it also happens when you just put headphones on and play the two different frequencies in the air. Your brain mixes, and this is sort of a non-intuitive result. Some people think it's relaxing. Some people think it has benefits. I'm a little skeptical about the anything above relaxing, but it is interesting. I did want to make a tone generation app anyway recently, because for for motion sickness. There's some recent research about 100 hertz being a magic number. That sort of alleviates things. I'm super skeptical about that, but there was a promising paper. So it's easy to test out, and I get car sick or VR motion sick pretty easy, so I'll probably use this app to try that out. So that's the binaural beats, and this is the white noise. And you can hear the fade in. I hope you can hear this. I'm not sure how well the mic picks this up. I don't know what noise delta is, but it does something. It might just be amplitude. Okay, but yeah, so the other things I wanted was remove or make it's easier. Tile should be the entire screen. What else? I think that's a good start. Okay, so I'll add another type of noise. Add more file playback. Let's think like birds. Birds are always nice. Office. Cityscape, maybe. Sure. Oh yeah, other big thing is fix wave loading delay. Loading background. So remove global settings. Use settings I think are not that important right now, so I'm gonna tell it to work on other things. Animation should fill entire screen. Tap first tile 2 times for the wave sounds to start after launch. What else? Sometimes when I click left or right, it stops playing the sound. Is a click passing through? Since the arrows are above, overlapping tiles. Okay, anything else? So I think I just send this over to ChatGPT. So pink noise is nice. What other kind of noise do I like? So one noise that I like a lot, I want to add a storm as well. One noise I like a lot that's synthetic is something like LPC, unvoiced LPC. LPC is a speech synthesis technique, and it's a little hard to explain, so I'm just going to ignore that for now. But it's like a very soft, gentle whispering with noise. It's not so gentle, I guess. But it's like speech without the tones, if that makes sense. Other kinds of noise, what else could I choose? We could just have a bunch of random tones. Like the ones people use for tinnitus therapy. I think those don't work that well or do much, and it's mostly placebo, but it's still kind of nice. So that's like a granular tone. Yeah, I think that's okay for now. And then the other part I want to do that's kind of big is I'd like to try Android app. So one of these two things, try the Android app. So will it work with this web audio interface? So if you wrap things in a HTML in a web view, I guess it should work. I'm not sure how Flutter actually operates, so I also want to spend this time to dig into the code a little bit, and then also launch website. So I'll buy a domain, or I can just use a domain I have with a subdomain or something. Yeah, what are the requirements for hosting? Can I use free Cloudflare? Pages. Keep everything. Free file. So Cloudflare Pages is pretty nice, and I've been hosting some like longevity papers with that. Anyway, let's take this to it first. Yeah. I wonder if I can just tell it should look cool and smooth. The tiles now are tiny icons. Make it slick and designer-ish. Yeah, I mean, it sounds silly, but it's all about the prompting, and I've gotten very vanilla UI results so far out of everything where I haven't done that. So let's let it do its thing, and I'm going to start looking at the project. So it's not the biggest project. Yeah, so it's got these JavaScript library files, and those we don't have to touch. So our actual source code is pretty much here. And interestingly, it already generated the iOS stuff. And possibly the Android things. I see Android manifest. And then everything else is in this lib. Is this it? I can't tell. Usually I use lib for external or even internal libraries, but stuff that's not the immediate project. But yeah, this is clearly the project, so it's just a different convention. So let's look at what we have. So there is a stateless widget. Let me check on how we're doing. All right, it's still working. Okay, so we can set text color. This is all really basic stuff. No actual view controller type things. No UI other than like global things. Okay. It looks like we use main screen. So let me see. All right, so there's several classes in this sound. And then in widgets, let me look at the tree again. So we have main screen and screens, all right. Okay, so the main screen is relatively large, and yeah, this is weird to me. It's got these like all the parameters here. But it's got this animated background thing it builds. And it looks like it's trying to use my sinusoidal based math animations. What is animated builder? That might be yeah, that looks like it's must be a Flutter class. A little bit curious. But it has a lot of options. So you can add containers to it. And somehow this animates. Okay, so it's starting to run. Okay, that looks a lot better. Let me check. It's not asking for my input yet, so we'll just play with this new app. So this is good. It's actually using the full screen. It's not playing sound until I tap twice. Probably. I clicked once. I'm gonna click again. I'm not hearing any sound. Okay, let me. Okay, so this animation sucks, but it's animated. And yeah, it's kind of funny. It kind of looks like rain. Let me go back to the rain. I like the background here. It's giving a lot of sinusoids moving around. Yeah, so like the turning off and on of the sounds doesn't make sense. Sometimes it turns on, like now it's the waves. I mean, it's kind of nice you can have the binaural beats overlapping with the waves. So we could keep the toggling, it just has to make a little more sense. Alright. Oh, I should have probably killed that. It was running it and probably waiting for us to do things. Yeah, you can commit anything you want. Okay, so right now the main problem now is that the initial state after the app loads is silent. And you should be playing audio in the first tile. Main problem now is the toggling, starting, stopping the tile of the audio. Okay, so hopefully we can fix that. When I move left, right, the audio sometimes stops. And is silent. Tapping left or right randomly turns on or off the sound. Also, the rain animation is very bad. It should look like drops. You could do game of life, even if you want to. Just keep it low. Be and then lastly, you should make the audio loading in the background not reload the wave every time from scratch. It's a wave, so you could even load it piecewise or by segments or seek if you want it. Actually, it should probably be OGG. I wonder if Opus would be okay for this. Okay. Yeah, let's let it do that. So I feel like that was faster. Yeah, so the main screen has a lot of this information. I want to see if it's handling the transitions with fade out or whatever. So here are the buttons on the top with the pause. We should tell it to remove that. We don't need so many things that turn off and on the audio. It's just confusing. But cool, let's see what else we have in the tree. There's the audio manager. Yeah, but it's pretty small. There's only 10 or so files here. So control sliders. The controls assigned about are the ones on the top, I think. So that's not what we're looking for. I want to know what the tiles are. Let me type waves. Yeah, so that's not here. Sound. Interesting, it's doing this haptic feedback thing. Okay, let me just check if it's asking feedback. Nope. So it's running now. So I'm gonna pause. Okay, it froze, so it's probably loading in the main thread again. Yeah, so the first state, there's nothing I can do to turn the audio on. I have to click left or right. And then it starts. But when I resume, there's no audio. Weird. The white noise needs an animation. Let me keep the notes here. White noise needs animation. Okay. So the other thing was the wave file loading are still happening on the main thread. Not good. Load in the background. start with maybe make the initial tile white noise. Okay, so it was still working on the audio loading. Oh, and now it's going to add my pink and brown noise, so that's cool. The brown noise and white noise are not so different, I think. But the pink noise is pretty noticeable because it has more low frequencies. Okay, it says it's done, so I'm gonna try that out. I'm gonna tell it, while it's doing that, I'm gonna tell it to do the white noise. Over rolling portions. The screen. So I also want to try on my Android phone to see if this actually works. Yeah, but let's play around with this. Okay, so that initial playback. Oh, we got some errors. Play failed because user didn't interact with the document first. Good to know. Oh, okay, I think it may have, yeah, it decided to run it, so. Definitely cooler. I like this a little better, but still too Macromedia Flash like for my liking. This white noise though, I like this. Like snow. Yeah, cooking does stuff, huh? Oh, okay, I guess there were two, you can have two running at the same time. Okay, so what do I want to tell it? We don't deal with file playback. The first wave on launch doesn't play with an error. I'll give it the error. It says animations are good, but the drops should all fall at different speeds and much, much, much faster, like I don't know, 5 to 50x faster. So I'm gonna give it this input. It's still doing things. Huh, it says I can see things, but I don't know. Yeah, so clicking does not change anything. Background loading still doesn't work. The waves and rain file loading still are blocking the main thread and freezing animation. Yeah, do that. Commit. Drops should not fall at the same oops. The drops should not all be grouped together in horizontal lines. For white noise, we don't need gravity, only going down. The clumps don't have to be horizontal groups and can go in any direction. Okay, so this is after this. If we get a reasonable result, I'm going to try out the Android app. And while it's running, I'm just going to see if I can I just type Android and will launch? No, I cannot. Interesting that I can run Linux though. I'm just curious. Okay, so there's no Linux desktop. while that's running, I'm going to take a quick peek into how it's handling the animations. So we have this noise generator, real-time audio player, web audio player. Okay, so this enhanced audio monitor manager looks like it's keeping track of time and frequencies. What about audio manager? It's very weird to have two of these that are kind of doing similar things. So this one is loading the WAV files. Let's see how it's doing that. Yeah, so I don't see. Okay, so this future should be spawning it on a different thread. Yeah, and it does this on initialize. I have no idea what this countdown timer is. And it does have this thing about 20 minutes, so yeah, you can commit. And while you do that, I'll run. Something about what I'd want to go in there and try to touch myself. Really not sure quite yet. Okay, we start with the white noise. Oh, this is very interesting. Except I don't hear any white noise. We don't see error now, so that's maybe progress. Yep, the white noise sound playback is not working right now. Very strange. I'm switching to rain. Yeah, this looks much better for rain. I think we can mix some slower rains in there as well. But yeah, this is good rain. This animation is nice. I like it. The waves. So janky. Okay. So still several problems. The white noise does not play. The waves do not play. Please remove the pause. If the user taps the middle of the screen, anywhere on the screen that isn't a button, this means stop playback. If it's stopped, the user taps like this again, it turns on. playback is different now. With Paris. Nor does it play when I come back. When I move out to binaural or back. Move away and come back to it. There is still a large stutter lag when moving to rain waves. Okay. But yeah, it's getting there. I think though this is approaching the point where you need to go in there and fix things manually, where the UI just starts to become a little bit of a whack-a-mole with Claude. This has happened to me for all the other AI projects I've done after a certain size with UI. And I guess the trick there will just to be use it at a more granular level than telling it to like do everything all at once. So we've been going about 45 minutes now. I'm gonna, as long as the next one isn't horrible, I want to just try to launch the Android app. I don't think it's reasonable to do the Cloudflare pages approach today, but if the Android app works right out of the box, I'll try it. So I'm gonna get a USB-C cable, so I can try to sideload something onto my phone. Yeah, so this one. Alright, so let me try this out. I don't think I even have ADB installed. I'm not sure. Okay, so it's still doing things. But let me try to set things up. I like the way that rain looks. Okay, so clicking stops the audio and there's no way to get it back. Weird, huh? Yeah, that's not a good feature, but so this is something I think I'll do later in the day. Clicking pauses the audio, but it never unpauses. Stop animation when paused. Slow animation. Okay. But I think I'm gonna defer that. I wanna have it work on Android next. I want to run on Android now. The Android SDK is there. I think it's there. Let me just check. Yeah, there's Android Studio. There's Android Studio at devel.net. Yeah, you can ls all you want. Sure, you can export variables. Trying to build an APK without command line tools. Okay. Yes, you can do anything like that. Oh, really has to create all of the... It's actually using the Android API for everything. It's going to create main activity. But maybe Flutter activity handles things with the Dart file. It'd not make sense if you had to rewrite everything in Java, right? That's the point. But yeah, maybe the VS Code Flutter plugin handles this kind of stuff for you. This is probably a non-standard way of doing it. Okay, but Flutter build APK. I wonder if I have an APK simulator. Let me see. Probably Flutter comes with one. No, I wouldn't expect that. Android Studio definitely would come with one. Sure. planning to delete Android. Let me see. Let me see what's in Android. Okay, so this is stuff that it recently created. I guess that's fine. Are you only deleting things you created recently, or are some of these things from the initial flutter setup that I might need later? If you're unsure, make a commit before you delete. Okay. All right, so it overwrote our code. But it's good that we have the backup. Yeah, so I feel like this would have been a little easier going with the VS Code plugin from the start. It's definitely getting a little bit confused. I mean, having to do everything from CLI sometimes has its drawbacks. I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna let this run for 5 more minutes, and that's gonna be my hard stop. But if we get an APK, I'll be happy. Let me see if I have ADB installed. I do. Oh no, I don't. Wow, I don't have ADB. Should be one in Android Studio, right? Let me see if there is one. There's no ADB. Oh. Yeah, let's just install ADB. So I have to turn on probably debug mode on my phone. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, you can build the APK. think it's still this weird thing where I have to like tap the build number 5 times. Yeah. To become a developer. So I am now a developer on my phone. Let's see, 80 by DV. No, it doesn't work. Why not? There should be some. Okay, I have to tell it it's for debugging. Okay, did that work? Nope. But yeah, we're still struggling here. I'm gonna let it run for 3 more minutes. Or 2 more minutes now. And I'll guess it's not gonna get there in time. So we can start to wrap up. I'll let it keep running and we'll see where we get. I might work a little bit on it offline. But yeah, my goals now are to put the web version on a web page, fix it up a little bit, and then hopefully get an Android and iOS app next. Yeah, I think I am going to call it a day. So thanks for watching, and I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll probably continue this project, but depending on how far I get today, I might start another one. All right, thanks for watching.